What's up, Taiwan? I'm Joyce in Taipei with the latest news. China is accusing Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te of escalating cross-strait tensions over comments Lai made at a National Day concert over the weekend. Reese Ayers has more on the rhetoric coming out from both sides.
Just old wine in a new bottle. That's how China's describing what they call President Lai Ching-te's Taiwan independence fallacy in the two sides' latest back and forth. China's Taiwan Affairs Office going on to accuse Lai of having sinister intentions of escalating hostility and confrontation. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council responded by saying that China's Communist Party is simply not allowing any room for the survival of the Republic of China. That's Taiwan's official name. Now, this most recent spat is all in response to comments that Lai made over the weekend at Taiwan's National Day concert, where he said it's impossible for China to become Taiwan's motherland because Taiwan has older political roots. Taiwan is about to celebrate its 113th National Day, and that's the history that Lai was referring to, a history that actually predates Communist China, which is 75 years old, having just celebrated their National Day on October 1st. Beijing and Taipei are constantly trading blows, and the rhetoric tends to increase around times of political sensitivity. For example, during election periods or national days. Beijing didn't like Taiwan's previous leader, Tsai Ing-wen, and they really openly detest the current leader, Lai Ching-te, calling him a separatist after his inauguration back in May, and accusing him of inciting cross-strait confrontation. And with Taiwan's National Day just around the corner, we can expect more from China in the coming days, and not just in terms of spicy language. Beijing is likely to flex its military muscles around Taiwan as well. Joseph Wu and Reese Ayers in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has been showcasing a new domestically made rifle called the T-112. As Rick Lauert reports, it's part of Taiwan's multi-billion-dollar effort to revamp and modernize its military in the face of a rising threat from China.
Target practice with Taiwan's latest domestically produced combat rifle, to be rolled out in the tens of thousands as the country modernizes its military in the face of rising threats from China.
主要是在这一把新的枪，它缓冲力比较减缓，然后再来它在精度上也比较提升的比较高，然后再来就是它可以依照我们的人体工学的部分，在前握把及后握把的部分都可以依照个人的时需就来做一个调整。 然后我们也在这个脚架上，我们也可以做一个地形的一个变化来做使用这个脚架的部分。
It's going to replace a service rifle that's been in use for nearly 20 years. The updated weapon is meant to be more reliable, more durable and more accurate than its predecessor. The T-112 was designed and developed here for the Ministry of National Defence's 205th Armoury in southern Taiwan, one of the largest weapons factories in the country. Most of Taiwan's smaller weapons are produced here, and this latest rifle is costing the country more than $250 million. This is just a small part of the $20 billion Taiwan has allocated to spend on defence. The amount recently raised as the country looks to counter increasing aggression from China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory.
密进入金门禁限制水域，严重破坏区域和平稳定。
Taipei has also lengthened conscription. The country is pursuing what's known as asymmetric warfare, strategically using weapons and other tactics that could help it ward off a foe that outguns and outmans it.
最重要还是我们说过的不对称的武器，如飞弹啦，或者是其他的无人机这些部分。那只是说这个 rifle 这个个人武器，也就是逐渐的渐进式的增加改善。
This rifle may soon be used by thousands of young Taiwanese as they enroll in mandatory military service. It's hoped that the new design will allow those conscripts to train more effectively and more quickly, preparing them for an eventuality when they might be called up to take up arms in defence of their country. Luffy Li and Rick Lauert in Kaohsiung for TaiwanPlus.
A new poll shows about half of people in Taiwan believe the U.S. would send troops to defend Taiwan from China. A top defense researcher asked residents what they thought the U.S. would do if China attacked Taiwan. Their findings show that nearly 53% believed the U.S. would send troops to defend Taiwan, but just under 40% believed the U.S. Navy would risk conflict with China to break a blockade. However, over 70% said they were confident Washington would help indirectly, sending materials or pressuring Beijing. China has imposed tariffs on European brandy, part of a growing tit-for-tat trade war with the EU. It comes just a week after EU member states voted in favor of levies on Chinese-made electric vehicles. Tiffany Wong reports.
Revelers looking for a nightcap in China may soon notice a difference in their drinks. That's as bartenders look for alternatives to brandy after China imposed anti-dumping tariffs of over 30% on imports of the spirit from the European Union.
If the price really goes up much more, I don't think we can keep on using a very expensive brandy. We'll actually choose something else.
China says the anti-dumping measures are meant to promote fair competition between imports and domestic products. But they come less than a week after the EU backed tariffs of up to 45% on imports of Chinese-made electric vehicles, a move they say protects European automakers. Companies that sell French spirits took an especially hard hit after the brandy tariff was announced. The country provides 99% of brandy exports to China. And bar owners worry consumers might not be willing to pay higher prices for famous brands like Hennessy and Remy Martin.
If you really ask the customers, do you really care for this specific brand to be in your drink, or would you rather be charged equal amount or a little bit less? I think everybody would have to answer the second one.
The EU said it would challenge the anti-dumping measures at the World Trade Organization, calling it abuse of trade defense instruments. China's Commerce Ministry also hinted at potential tariffs on cars, pork, and dairy from the EU, leaving European countries wondering which industry will be hit next.
This is the new reality. The EU has been unequipped for far too long to protect its interests. And now there is a time and maybe a momentum to push back, but also to do so collectively, so that not only sends a message to China, but it also deters and also creates a level playing field.
China and the EU will have to strike a balance between fostering fair competition and protecting the local businesses bearing the brunt of tit-for-tat tariffs. Howard Zhang and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
It's been 6 months since a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit Taiwan's east coast near Hualien. The region, which is home to Taroko National Park, is heavily dependent on tourism. An industry is struggling to get back on track. Chris Gorin reports.
Whale and dolphin watching are popular activities in Hualien, eastern Taiwan. But lately, there haven't been many tourists. Local boat captains say business has done poorly since April, after a major earthquake struck the region.
对，之前真的就是没有，只要到搭船的时间，比如说10点，10点半，码头这边就是可能有200-300人在这边，但是现在看到的就是空荡荡的这样子。
Hualien's natural beauty usually draws millions of tourists every year, making up as much as 70% of its economy. But after 6 months of earthquakes and typhoons, the tourism industry here is in trouble. Walking on the streets of Hualien, you can see many shops and restaurants, like the one behind me, that have closed their doors as tourism has slowed. Just across the street, a building that suffered major earthquake damage awaits demolition. Both are evidence of the physical and economic damage this year's natural disasters have brought and that the region is still living with. The earthquake in April measured 7.2 on the Richter scale, the strongest to hit the country in 25 years. It left at least 18 people dead and damaged structures across the region. Repeated landslides cut transportation links and have devastated the region's biggest attraction, Taroko National Park, which may not be fully reopened for years. Its lush green mountainsides now white from collapse. One of the hardest hit industries, hotels. Despite millions of US dollars in government-sponsored travel vouchers, incentives, and subsidies, with some rooms being offered practically free of charge, the occupancy rate in Hualien has dropped to an all-time low.
那其实我们在地震之前或是台风之前，花莲的平均住宿率大概都有55%左右哈，但是到目前为止，大概还是只有20%左右的住宿率。那所以代表我们还有一大段努力的空间，好，可以用更多的方式，大家尽力的，好去吸引客人能够有意愿来到花莲。
The central government approved almost $900 million in post-earthquake reconstruction and relief funds earlier this year. But that's done little to help those whose businesses have shut down. Several business owners and workers now relying on charity to get by. This restaurant, run by a local organization, is providing jobs for those affected by the quake.
现在总会在04、03地震发生的时候啊，我们这边也是成为灾民的安置避难所，所以我们在想说，他们住在这里，我们还可以提供什么样子的协助？那因为我们有这些像是餐厅、像是烘焙这一些的场域，所以我们就用以工代赈。在我们这边工作的场域的人数其实不多，大概只有3、4位左右，就直接在这边做比较直接在这边工作的人。但在地震之后，我们现在目前有26个伙伴，就是以工代赈的人员在这边工作。
As both charities and the government try to help Hualien find its footing, 6 months after the quake, the foundation of its economy is still off balance. The damage caused, the most extensive in recent memory, making it difficult to predict how long it will take for a tourism revival, leaving local businesses caught between seeking other options or adjusting to a new normal. Justin Wu and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Every year, the presidential office holds a light show in Taipei to mark Taiwan's National Day. The show has a different theme each year and draws large crowds. Wesley Lewis went along to check it out.
This elaborate lightscape is held annually during the week leading up to Taiwan's National Day on October 10th. It's the Presidential Office Light Show. Every year the show is different. Hundreds of people are here to see this year's theme, Together Stronger. It features Taiwan comics and a special focus on Zhuge Silang, Taiwan's first hero comic, a colorful story that draws inspiration from Chinese folk stories and the wuxia genre, offering a unique experience for viewers.
有很多很经典的漫画，然后音乐也很好听，
蛮精彩的，觉得很好。
The building is lit up for 10 minutes, a total of 12 times between 6 and 10 p.m., every night leading up to National Day. This year's National Day marks the 113th anniversary of the Republic of China. That's Taiwan's official name. The opening ceremony this year included performances by local artists and a speech from President Lai Ching-te.
在蔡总统任内，特别推动总统府建筑光雕展，就是希望能够用不同的主题，对土地表示敬意，也呈现多元的文化。
Tonight's wet weather is not ideal for the light show. What's more, the opening ceremony was originally scheduled for October 5th, but was postponed due to Typhoon Kraton. But those in the crowd have not let the delay rain on their parade.
去年也是超这种天气，后来有下一点雨，这样蛮凉爽的。
它就下一下子就停了，就还好，不影响那个。
它其中有一些画面，它刚好有打雷也有下雨，我觉得还蛮契合的。
The Baroque-style presidential office building featured in this show is over a century old, built during the Japanese colonial period in Taiwan. It now stands as one of the country's most enduring national symbols, providing an ideal backdrop for this holiday event that aims to spotlight Taiwan's unique history and culture. Joseph Wu and Wesley Lewis in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more of our stories. Before we go, check out the colorful northern lights illuminating the skies over Finland. I'm Joyce, take care and see you next time.